Okay guys, so for today's video what I want to talk about is what is your goal? What are you actively pursuing? I feel in life that we always need to be pursuing a goal. As men, if we do not have a goal, we're lost. We feel lost. I know that, I periodically go through times in my life to where there's not a huge, major, active goal I'm seeking. And it's during those times that I just often feel like I'm coasting. I'm just kind of going through the motions of life and not really getting the most out of it. And that's where it leads me back to the point of I need to set a goal. I need to have something major, some major undertaking that I'm actively pursuing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be lifting related, but obviously that's kind of what drew us all together. That's why you're on my channel. That's why I'm here in this position I am where I'm talking to you, because it's this pursuit and passion of lifting. So this is where having a goal in terms of a meet or having a goal in terms of a massive number you're actively trying to get in training, those are all very important. I think at all times it's important to be putting everything you have into a certain goal. I've thought before, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this where I'm like, balance is important. I've said that. I'm like, it's important to be balanced, but I think I'm misphrasing it. Balance in the sense that you're not neglecting your responsibilities as far as your family and your financial obligations, your work, stuff like that. I feel like that's being smart, okay? You don't want to be so reckless in the pursuit of a goal that you just cast aside your entire life. That's not the point. That would be selfish. So there's a selfishness if you were to cast aside your family and all your responsibilities to actively pursue a goal. That's what I mean when I say balance. But don't get me wrong, I don't mean balance in the sense of, it gets lost in this idea of balance being mediocre. This mediocrity that comes with the idea of balance. I'm not saying that either. So I think I got to get away from the word balance, because balance is too often misinterpreted as mediocrity, accepting things how they are, being normal. And I've never wanted to be normal. My entire life, I've never wanted to live a normal existence. And I'm sure many of you guys relate and feel the same way, to where you want to branch out and do your own thing and live the lifestyle you want to live, more or less. So that's where the goals come in. With guys, there's so many times where I'm like, I am stagnant. It happens to the best of us. There's been times where I'm on fire and going after a goal with everything I got. Just put everything I have into it. And even if I don't get it, it's a pretty good end result, because I'm just pushing so hard. I'm pushing myself to levels I didn't think were possible or weren't doing previously. This was the whole thing. Throughout my lifting career, it was like the end goal was a 900 deadlift and then a 1,000-pound deadlift. And I never quite got to the 1,000-pound deadlift, but I got pretty dang high because of that. And I'm going to talk about this with Mark Plummer today, where, there were some big injuries along the way to where I thought I was done. What people don't realize is when I first injured my right hip labrum and I could barely get down to parallel, like with no weight, I just couldn't even, my body wouldn't let me go down due to impingement and issues in my hip. And my total at the time was 1763, my best total. What you guys don't realize is for 2 years, I didn't improve upon that. And I thought I was done. I thought I was finished. I thought my best days of powerlifting were behind me. I would be more known as a basement lifter who did pretty well in training with crazy deadlifts, but not for a guy who put up good numbers in a meet. So 1763 is where I thought the journey was over. And that was back in like 2015. I blew that out of the water in the years to come because I was still passionate. I was still pursuing the goal. The fire got rekindled. So the fire can go dormant. The fire can disappear temporarily, but the fire will come back. You got to let the fire come back. You can't float through just because of a setback and say it's over, because there's a lot of times where these setbacks will feel as if it's over. The goal is not going to happen. I mean, guys, there's so many freaking times that's happened to me. And looking at it now, it's completely obvious that these are just setbacks you have to push through. It's not an excuse to be lazy just because stuff gets hard, just because you fail at something. It's just a step along the way. So literally 1763 total, think about that. And I thought I was done, and I went on to the total 2100 which is almost, it's about 350 pounds higher than that. I mean, and there were other times. There was times, I'm trying to think here, where I would get to like 800 and I'm like, man, 900 is so far off. There's no way that's going to happen. But I got really, really freaking passionate about it, and I went hard with everything I had. I had that goal. That goal is what drove me, having this crazy goal. Men, we're supposed to have goals. We are supposed to have goals. It's not normal for you not to have goals, because it's the cliche thing of looking back with the hunter-gatherer days to where, we had to go kill something and get meat, or everyone was going to starve to death, and we had to start fires and stuff like that. That was the motivation. You didn't need to, you didn't need to manually come up with motivation, because the motivation was automatic. It was survival. Well, that's not as much of a thing anymore, because we've grown so complacent and lazy with our, lifestyle of everything at the tip of your fingertips, with your cell phone, with your iPhone that spies on you and stuff like that. And we have all these comforts. We have a warm bed at night. We have all the food we want. We can go to the grocery store. We can drive our cars. We have so many conveniences. The goals are gone. The goal has to be come up with. You have to invent the goal. You have to find something that pushes you, that is going to be hard, something that really gets you inspired and feeling alive, because the feeling of being alive comes from being passionate. It comes from pursuing a goal, okay? Whatever your religious beliefs are, obviously I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I find my identity through that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I don't have a goal. I'm still pushing extremely hard towards things. And for me, most of my life, it's been lifting related. I'm like, I want to hit this number. I want to hit this number. And I'm going to put everything I have into that. Why fall short of that? Why short yourself? Why go half-assed with your goals? Why? Why do it? If you're going to have a goal, go after it. Freaking go after it. Okay? It's everything you got, guys. Just you're going to be happier. You're going to get the most out of life. You're going to feel the most alive by putting everything you have into these goals. So I don't care what it is, but figure out the goal for you. Okay? It can be lifting. It can be something else. But you got to realize, okay, even if the journey is not 100% smooth, even if there's setbacks, even if it's not linear, even if you have periods of regression, keep pushing for that goal. There's so many goals. There's so many things. I look at what I've done. I think about what I want to do. I think about what I want to do with the channel. I think about what I want to do with even my lifts. I still want to come back and hit some crazy numbers at some point. I want to be healthy. I want all these. You don't get there by half-assing it. You got to go all in. It's all-in mentality, okay? And I think that doesn't mean you have to be reckless. So if I could look back on anything, I'd say you don't have to be reckless. That's just a BS excuse for the rest of your life falling apart. So recklessness is not what we're after, but push hard for the goal. That's what you need to do. What is the goal for you guys? What is it? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what your goal is, okay? It can be lifting, it can be not lifting. And I don't think it's not a bad idea to have, if your passion is lifting, come up with a lifting related goal that you're going all in for, and then come up with a goal in your personal life that you're going all in for. So have a little bit of balance there in a good way. Good balance, not mediocrity. Okay, balance is not mediocre. That's what I don't want this to get shoveled into. Because honestly, guys, there have been times in the last 2.5 years, since I came off everything, where I've thought, I'm freaking mediocre, okay? I'm accepting mediocrity, and this is not okay. And it's almost like, in a way, I made the excuse for myself that you're no longer on PEDs, you're no longer on testosterone, so you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, it's a bunch of crap. We make these limits for ourselves. We make these self-imposed limitations, and that's what holds us back. And I realized I was cutting myself short. I realized recently that I've just been making excuses, being lazy, being mediocre, accepting mediocrity. Well, I didn't accept mediocrity to get to the numbers I got to. Okay? You can't accept mediocrity. So it's time we all realize this and get after it. Have a goal every day where you're like, I'm working towards that goal. If you have this goal, You do something every freaking day that gets you closer to that goal. Okay, that's what it comes down to. One thing, one little thing. Do one thing every day. It's the consistency over time, the discipline that will do it. Discipline is what gets you to be a winner. Discipline leads to consistency, which leads you to being a winner. That's what you have to do. Okay, if you want to be a winner, be disciplined, be consistent, do one thing a day at least. One thing a day is going to add up over time. That's 365 things in a year. Then you get multiple years stacking up. Even for this freaking channel as one example. Who says we can't get this channel to 1 million subscribers in 5 years? It's consistency, guys. It's chipping away. I see the subscriber count go up slow, but I'm preaching a good message. It'll grow. I just got to keep going. Some days the channel grows so slow, I just want to quit. Like, why am I doing this? The channel's not growing fast enough. I feel like it's good content, but it's growing slow. I want to give up, but I know I can't because discipline's going to get you there. That's what's going to do it. That's just one example. Same with lifting. Okay, so what? You had 6 months where your lifts barely moved. Well, keep freaking going because I've been there too. And if I'd given up at 1763, I never would have gotten to 2100. Okay? So every day, discipline leads to consistency, leads to success. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, let me know what your goals are. Let's keep rolling.